That's right. We failed our inspection. So we were getting inspected for OUPV or six pack. As an owner and as a captain, there were some things that I had overlooked. There were five of them. So we're going to go through those five things. I guarantee you do not have the fifth one on your boat or you're not in compliance. I could not find the requirement anywhere. So let's get into it, one through five, and let me know if you do have the fifth one at the end. All right, so first item on the list is similar to drug testing. So you have to do alcohol testing. So the requirement is that you have a process or a way to do alcohol testing within 2 hours of an incident. I had mentioned to the examiner that I want to do trips over to the Bahamas, so I wanted him to inspect the boat as if I was going to do a trip to the Bahamas and do OUPV or do a six pack charter boat. So that's the way he did that. So I had asked him, to make sure that I'm compliant with that. And one of the things that he brought up was, so I had the test kits. So this is the test kit that the Coast Guard had recommended during our conversation. So I went ahead and got that, ordered that on Amazon. I want to say they're roughly $70 for like a pack of 10. So I have myself and a crew member on all of our charters, Kaylin. But so I really only needed to have two, but they gave us extras. One of the things that I brought up, and I was like, well, I have the strips, but I keep them at home because I know the Coast Guard had said that within the tolerance of humidity and heat in South Florida, they're not able to be kept at a correct temperature. So you can't just leave them in a center console out all the time. They mentioned that if you run to the Bahamas or if you're 2 hours away from home during an incident, which most incidents you're going to be at the dock for a while, wherever the Coast Guard is investigating. So they recommended that because I do have a cabin on this boat, they said I can put them in the fridge or leave them downstairs in a climate controlled environment, and that will be sufficient. So that was one thing that I did not have on the boat at the time. But they highly recommended and told me in order to pass, I have to have them on the boat and be able to administer the alcohol swabs within 2 hours. All right. So second thing on our list was a sign. So in case of emergency. So this sign I needed to have created. This was something that, you do your, what do you call it, your safety briefing before you leave the dock. You talk to everybody, but this sign apparently was actually required to say what it says and to be visible. So I chose to go ahead and have something made. It's on a nice little thick, kind of, I don't know, 4 millimeter plastic. So made it a little bit durable. So I leave this up on deck in an area that's able to be seen when I'm actually doing charters, and then I can put it away afterwards. But that's something that was actually required. And to be honest, I still to this day cannot find the sign in the regulations. But it was something that obviously is there. It was required. It was something that we had to get rectified before we could get certified as an OUPV and get our compliance sticker. All right, our number three. Third item on the list is our anchor light. So this boat is a 2001 35 Express. I have a complete tower all the way up on top. The anchor light was up there in the tower, but it was under the, I guess I'll call it the electronics box or the helm upstairs. And the Coast Guard had mentioned that the anchor light is not visible 360 degrees. It is not at the highest point of the vessel, and it can be obstructed. You tell me. I'm really curious what you guys think. It was originally built this way, but I do kind of understand, but I also go on the fact that, well, we also, the light can be seen. So I'm really curious to get your opinion on it. So here's a picture of what the anchor light looked like before, where the light is, and then you can see the one that we have installed at the very top. It is very bright. I didn't mind installing it based on safety, especially if I'm going to run to the Bahamas or run to the islands. I do charter at night, so it does matter to have lights. So I really don't mind upgrading lights or replacing lights or making them more efficient or bright. But it was something that I was like, well, that's kind of nitpicky. be really curious what you guys think on that one. The fourth item on our list is actually the official numbers. So the numbers that are required by the Coast Guard to be installed on the hull. I believe it's 3 inches tall, if I remember right. But it's basically just a registration. So it's our registration number. This is one thing. When I bought the boat 4 or 5 years ago, I was told that the numbers were in a place. It's my fault. I've never looked. I never stuck my head in there to say, hey, here they are. The owner of the boat previously told me. The inspector that I got told me they were in there, and they actually wrote it that they were in there in the inspection. So I just assumed that, yeah, they're probably correct. I went to the inspector and walking around, and I told him the same thing. Well, sure enough, he actually looked, and he went down and said, no, they're not there. So together, I kind of scratched my head, and I was like, well, okay. So if they weren't there, I said, well, I don't have any idea where they would be then. So I went ahead and ordered numbers from a company up north. Went ahead and 5200 it onto the hull of the boat, and here's a picture of what that looks like now, so that we got that squared away and in compliance. All right, and our fifth item, I guarantee that you guys do not have this item. This one I could not find anywhere. But hey, do me a favor. If you guys get anything out of this video, give me a thumbs up. It really does help the algorithm and push out this video to more people, and it helps me out a lot. Give me a comment. Let me know. I'm really curious if you have this fifth item on your boat or on your charter. So the fifth item is regarding the drug testing consortium. So the drug testing consortium I had it. We were compliant with it. I have myself listed. I have Kaylin listed. We are the two that run the boat. She is my deckhand. I am the captain. No issues there. However, what they called it, and let me actually look it up, make sure I get the name correctly. So it was the designation of employee representative. So designation of employee representative, what they're talking about is at the top of the letterhead, who is in charge of the drug testing program. So me as the owner of the company and also as the captain of the vessel, I cannot be the one that is the representative for the drug testing consortium. So the consortium, if for example, and then what they gave me, the example they gave me was, if I was the one that failed the drug testing, they cannot send me the results to say, hey, you failed. And then me on the honor system would have to send in the results to the Coast Guard. It has to be another person. So I had to add another person to my LLC so that they could manage the drug testing consortium, and they will be the point of contact going forward for the consortium if there's any questions or any issues, and they will be the ones that get the actual testing results. So I'm very curious. Anyone out there that currently runs an OUPV, six-pack charter, or even inspected vessels, I'm sure that's going to be a requirement for all of those. I looked everywhere and actually read through the document for OUPV standards. So if you aren't familiar with that, I'll put a picture on the screen for you. This is a helpful document. It goes through all of the CFRs. It goes through all the regulations. It explains them pretty well. There's still a few things that I'll say I'm not very sure on, but it goes through all of it. I dug through this book, and I could not find anything about the management of the consortium versus being listed on it. Let me know in the comments if you find it or if it's something that you are currently doing. I'm very curious to see how many people are actually doing it versus not. So again, appreciate you guys sticking around to the end on this one. If you did like the video, great thumbs up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.